Hello and welcome to the Ladies Best Life podcast. Today I have an incredible guest with me, Keri Negron-Jennings. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So today we're going to be talking about Keri's journey, a couple of challenges that she's been through and also a challenge that she's recently put herself through. So Keri, let's start from the very beginning.
Okay, so where do we start? We'll go for the challenge that life gave me, I suppose. So in 2020, so 3 years ago, it'll be October 2020, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Middle of COVID, so it wasn't brilliant. Unfortunately, kind of the hospital where I was diagnosed wasn't brilliant. There was delays, so I had to kind of take things into, I suppose, my own hands. And yeah, I ended up having treatment in London.
Wow.
So I did that I was on active treatment for near on 2 years. I've had 3-4 surgeries, but I am in remission now, which is amazing. So that was my kind of story. I mean, chemo and radiotherapy and immune therapy, and they gave me lots of things, and it wasn't a good kind of time, but I think you get through it with lots of inappropriate humor. You kind of rally around because what other option is there, basically? So that was kind of that. And then it's weird, so you spend a lot of time in hospitals, your life becomes hospitals, and appointments, and it's like, you need it's a full-time job just to manage all the treatment and the hospital and etc. But then when you're done, you're kind of left, and then it's like, this expectation that you just go back to your normal life, but actually life will never be the same again because you've kind of lost parts of your body, and you've been through all this treatment, you're still on kind of treatment for quite a while that is doesn't give you the best side effects. I think I got to a point where I was like, I don't really know how to fit back into my old life. This is a bit. So that's when I joined CC. To probably lose a few pounds. I thought maybe that was it. I realised second weekend that's not it. But it's really kind of helped me, I suppose, get my confidence back, really. And then I also, at kind of a similar time, I had applied to do a trek in Mont Blanc for Copperfield, which is a breast cancer charity. And similar time, I got an email to say, yes, you're in. So yeah, I kind of joined CC. I kind of prepared for this crazy trek physically, which was amazing. I've just literally came back 2 weeks ago. Emotionally wasn't ready for the trek. Like, it was a lot. But yeah, it was amazing. So that's kind of like my little nutshell, I suppose. Generally, I've got 2 children. That was quite hard. They were only 15 and 11 when I got diagnosed. So that was really quite tough. And it was obviously in COVID. But yeah, they're okay. I think we're all resilient in many ways.
Wow, love that. So now can we dig into that nutshell a little bit?
Yeah, well, I'm a bit scared, but yeah, I will.
If at any point you're like, Sasha, we're not going there, it's fine. So can you take us, if you're happy to, because obviously like some people listening to this couldn't ever comprehend to be told that news. So what did you do? How did you find out? Was it a routine checkup?
So I found quite a big lump. And I went to the doctor's surgery. The doctors then sent me to the breast clinic, I guess. And obviously it was COVID, so you just went in by yourself. And now I think back, it's like a comedy sketch. But I kind of went there, just not even like, that wasn't even on my radar. I was like, it's just whatever. It's a cyst or something. So I went and had the mammogram, fine. And then they said, we think you need to have an ultrasound. So it sounds funny. They give you a shopping basket to put your stuff in, like you're at Asda.
What?
Right? So they say, get changed and put all your stuff in the shopping basket. So you're standing in like a gown with a shopping basket. And you like literally, this is like ridiculous. Anyway, they have to have an ultrasound. Then the ultrasound, they did the ultrasound. Oh, we need a biopsy. At that point, I mean, I didn't really even know what the hell they were talking about. But I was like, okay, fine. So that was fine. So then they did that. Then I came out of the room and I remember they said, oh, you need to go back and have another mammogram. So I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, so I went in the room and I passed out. So I passed out, obviously wearing a mask because it was COVID. And all I remember is coming to on the floor and my boobs were out and there was like all these people around me with masks. So I don't know, like my body had obviously gone, whoa. Anyway, at that point they did let me go and get my husband who was outside. But even then, like, we sat with the consultant and he was like, you've got to prepare that obviously we're testing, but, you know, you must prepare that it could be. And even then, I just didn't really. I was just like, oh, this is ridiculous. Wow. And I left. And then I went back the next week. And again, I had to go in by myself. Yeah. And then I think someone asked me, oh, have you got anybody here with you? And I said, well, yeah, but it says you can't bring anyone, so my husband's in the car. And they said, oh, you better go and get him. And at that point I was like, oh shit, it's not going to be good, is it? So I remember going out and as the doors kind of automatically opened, my husband was standing out there and I just started to cry. He was like, what? I was like, I don't know, but it's really bad. Oh. Yeah. And then I don't know, they kind of told me, and yeah, you just go into kind of a shock, really. I was then told I had to have like some more tests and biopsies done that day, and then they told me over the phone that it actually spread to my lymph nodes. But I think the biggest thing for me was they said, you've just got to wait now for a scan, and like because of COVID, it could be like 6 to 8 weeks. And I was like, okay, so you've told me it's already spread and I'm just supposed to wait. And in my mind, I was like, 6 to 8 weeks, that takes us to Christmas. And then I'm buggered. So, yeah, I was just, in my mind, I was like, that's not an option for me. So, yeah, I spent the next kind of 3 days on the phone to maybe 20 different places trying to get a scan. And then crying down the phone to a secretary of my consultant going, please take me on. I can come tomorrow. And he did. So that's how I ended up at the Marsden. Yeah. But I was like, I'm not just going to sit and wait and be like, oh, I might as well. You know, at one point someone had asked me, like, have I got life insurance? Because I'll need to get my affairs in order. I mean, what does that mean? Wow. Like, I'm 40 years old. I've got 2 kids. Like, no.
So do you know, like, so that wait time, was that because it was COVID or is that?
Yeah, I think it was probably because it's COVID. But I think it's just, I don't know. It's so hard, isn't it? Because I'm a massive kind of NHS person, and I think, you know, everybody should be entitled to this same treatment. Yeah. But when you've got no other choice, so no, you know, it's hard, isn't it?
100%. And I think it's like it shows your strength when you're like, oh, it's fine, you know, it's just a cyst, it's fine, we can just go in. But I'm like, wow, like how, like I would be the complete opposite. I'm like, that's it, I know what it is. You know, so where do you think that, like, have you always been like that? Have you always had quite a, I'm fine, let's cop on sort of mentality?
Yeah, I've always been quite stoic. Yeah, I have. I don't know where. I mean, my mum is just a massive influence in my life and like my children's lives. And she just holds her shit together all the time. And I'm just in awe of, yeah. So I think it comes from my mama.
That's incredible. Wow. And like, do you feel like upon reflection over this past 3 years, do you feel like you've held your shit together?
So I think there's been breaking points because it is so difficult and it's weird, like people say stuff. And one of the things I found really challenging was people are trying to be so diplomatic and so kind. But yet, like, it's just, you just want to tell them to fuck off, but you can't. Sorry,
No, you're allowed to say it. Come on.
Yeah, because they don't, they'll be like, oh, you look lovely bald. Really? Are you going to shave your hair? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, it's going well. Yeah, it's really going great. Thanks.
Fuck.
Like, yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, I think you have to crack on.
How did you not bite to any of those comments?
Because it comes from a good place. I think I've always learnt that actually people can say really like messed up things, but they don't actually mean it. And I think if the intention is good, how are they going to feel if I say, yeah, like, can you stop being so inappropriate?
Yeah.
Like, they're going to feel shit, aren't they? Like, I already feel shit. Do I really want to make someone else feel shit?
Yeah, that's so true. Fair play,
I don't know. Like, that's how I look at it. A lot of people look at it very differently. And maybe I am like an absolute people pleaser, clearly. Like I never want to offend anyone. But yeah, I think like in times of crisis, most people are genuinely just trying to help.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I know a line that gets me is, oh, I don't know what to say. And I'm like, you're making it about you, not about the person who's going through whatever it is that they're going through. Just be there for them.
Yeah, just say anything, because anything is better than nothing. The worst one is when people just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I controlled my story quite well as well, because I didn't want people asking my mum and my dad and the kids. And it's Shrewsbury, isn't it? So
yes.
So I controlled quite well, maybe, much to my children's, horrified at some of the things I put on. But yeah, on social media, I very much controlled the story because I was like, if people are going to talk, they can talk about what I've put up rather than. And I just didn't want people asking all the time, oh, what's happening, because I just thought that was terrible for my family.
Yeah. And so when you say you controlled it, do you mean that you basically like did a step-by-step thing, or?
Yeah, so I posted quite a lot about my journey and all the treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and that was just, I think that was a coping mechanism, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And amazing. When we speak about things, when we express things, it does help.
Yeah.
Even if like you're still in this world of feeling, horrendous, and there's so many things that could trigger you and completely throw you into complete meltdowns, having certain coping strategies along the way is a game changer.
Yeah.
And if one of those is kind of like regulating the stories, and that then like at the same time is a way to kind of like soothe yourself to even just 1%. Is worth doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So surgery number 1, like, was that like, at what point did you think, right, okay, I trust that I'm going to be okay?
I don't know if you ever get to that point.
Really?
Yeah. I think you learn to manage the fear that it hopefully won't come back.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure you ever get to that point that, you'll always be a cancer patient, effectively. Like, I'm currently cancer free and in remission, but I think there is this kind of cloud that you just learn to manage.
And like, from an identity standpoint, from like how you see yourself, like, do you like, have you noticed a change in that? Because even like saying the words like, I'm a cancer patient, like that to me like feels heavy from an identity standpoint.
Yeah, I don't think I've definitely I don't sweat the small stuff anymore. I mean, I think about the things I used to get annoyed about, and I'm just like, what was I doing?
Really?
Yeah, does it really matter if my daughter doesn't pick up the t-shirt on her floor? Or her bedroom looks like a shit. It doesn't really matter, does it? But yeah, I think it definitely has changed me. But I think actually in some weird way for the better. I used to be kind of burn the candle at both ends. So I would work all the time. I would, party quite hard.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely made me realise like it's a balance. And you don't always have to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
You can manage that a little bit.
Be less of a people pleaser.
Yeah, but saying that, I love going out. I love people. I love being around my friends and my family. And so actually, like, it is, I do find it still quite challenging because that is like, just brings me joy. So, and life is short. So now it's like, well.
We hear this quite a lot with people who are wanting to embark on something like Coaching Club, and they're like, how do I kind of navigate the wanting to enjoy life because life is short, but also wanting to prioritize my health and maybe, being in a smaller dress size? How, like, do you feel like you've got it nailed? Can we share any wisdom?
I haven't got it nailed. I think anyone that says they've got it nailed is a liar.
Yeah.
No, I think what I've realised is I don't always have to have a drink.
Yes.
That's a big thing for me because I did drink quite a lot when I was younger. And it was kind of that, well, if you're going out, you'll have a drink.
Yeah.
So now I kind of am able to manage that better. And I think you just kind of get into enjoying different things as well. So, whereas, we'll go for drinks, or we'll meet at the pub. Actually, we'll meet Saturday morning and we'll go for a hike. So I think like you can have your cake and eat it a little bit. I think it just depends on what your goal is, doesn't it? I mean, it's so personal.
I love there's a quote that's like, you don't have to conform to other people's idea of fun. Yeah. And there is a lot of, like, we talked a lot in this morning's live about conforming to societal expectations. And the way that I do it is I'm still living such a fun life. I drink, oh my God, I was wild when I was like 16, like drink, drugs, absolutely everything. Like I was crazy. And I don't hold any shame because I'm like, it's made me who I am. It was a decision that felt right at the time, YOLO, whatever. But now, like, I'm like, that is not my idea of fun. So we get to choose our idea. And I think like that whole thing of like health being a either or to living a fun life, I really wish we could break that down because it's so not true.
Yeah, I suppose, I don't know, society's weird, isn't it? And it kind of bats things against each other because that's how they make money or that's how they... So I think like we are taught lots of things that actually aren't true. And I think for me, when I got sick, that was an absolute game changer for me because you actually start seeing things in a little bit of a different light. And that's everything. That's your health. That's your relationships with people. You just everything. Every aspect of your life is impacted.
And like, what are the main? Like, obviously, you said like you don't sweat the small stuff. What other like changes have you noticed in yourself? What other like perspectives have you noticed switch?
So I think I've always had a really close family, which were amazing when I was sick and always have been amazing. But I think you kind of realise how important family is and how important friends are. Like I was so lucky, like my children were just kind of encompassed by people that were there for them. And actually that's brilliant because for them to have those special relationships with not only family but people that we call our family, friends, that is just because then they're going to be all right, and that's magical.
So it's like you've really realised, although you know it anyway, but you really realise the value of those people around you.
Yeah,
incredible.
Definitely.
So take us through the next steps then. So you obviously had the moment where you were told about it. You then went through the treatment through COVID. I assume all of that was done privately.
Yeah, and like literally, I couldn't have anybody. There was, you going to the chemo ward by yourself.
Wow.
But it's on the plus side, you know, I've made some brilliant friends because we were on the same chemo schedule, and you know, here we are.
Yeah.
I've got no one else to talk to, so I'll talk to you. Yeah, so I've made like lifelong friends because, you know, if I'd taken somebody, I wouldn't have engaged with other people. But yeah, so yeah, I had chemo. I had, I've had 3 surgeries now. I've no more surgeries left. Yeah, so you kind of have surgery, then you have reconstruction. Yeah, so I had all of that, and my last reconstruction was in June, I think, this year. I think that was like, and once that came to a close, I think that was probably when I started kind of going, oh, I'm not sure about normal life now. Like, how do I step into normal life?
Oh, really? So because, like you said about the beginning, life has been appointment after appointment and next thing after next thing, then it's like, oh, now what? And like, so how are you governing that? Because that's obviously quite recent, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, even though I had surgery in June, I finished kind of active treatment probably 12 months ago. So I think, I don't know, you get back into it. I think there's a tendency to sometimes you get back into things and then you realise, actually, this isn't, I need to like, you know, slow down. Because actually I can't run. So, you know, I need to just walk through this. So yeah, I think it's a journey. That sounds really cheesy, doesn't it? Oh, God. But I think it is, like, actually, I don't know what the future holds, but, you know, and I haven't got that kind of comfort now where I'm going to the hospital every week. But actually, I'm doing all right. And like, this trip made me realise, actually, I can do really difficult things. And also, there's loads of people that are really in a worse position than me, and that they are doing difficult things. So that's just like, you know, a couple of the girls on the trip have got secondary breast cancer. You know, so they won't ever be able to say they're cancer free. They won't ever be able to say, you know, they're in remission. You know, and their life expectancy is less, and it sucks. And they've got families. Yeah, so I'm just in awe of them, you know, like, yeah, I'm just absolutely in awe. And I think it helps with, I know it sounds silly, but you spend a lot of time being scared, but actually seeing that actually, even if it did come back, like, you cope and you can still do amazing things.
Wow.
So they were like inspirational in a way. It was we had a good team trekking Mont Blanc. It was very good.
So tell us more about it. So you similar time to coming into CC, you got told you've got a place.
Yeah.
There was how many of you doing it?
So there was 120 something, and we were split into 4 groups. So like, I think there was 28 women in our group. Not all have had breast cancer. Some have had breast cancer. Some have got breast cancer. Some have got family members, you know, but a lot of them have got some kind of connection. Yeah, so I got an email to say I was in. I was going to apply, or my friend was going to apply, but she ended up not applying. So I was like, literally, I'm in. I don't know anyone. Oh shit. And it's camping as well. I'm not a camper. So yeah, but I got there. My tent mate was brilliant. She was amazing. And actually, just like, the 28 of us just all of a sudden were like, we were just mates. It was brilliant. It was so good. Each team had like a celebrity leader.
Wow.
And we had Pete Wicks.
Oh, nice.
And he was amazing. He was so good. Yeah, and I was like surprised how I managed the physical stuff, but actually the emotional stuff I wasn't prepared for.
And what is that? You've mentioned that before, and I'm like, what? Tell me more.
Just this kind of comfort of like being able to talk to people, like, kind of openly, that you like strangers. And I'm not an overly emotional person. So yeah, it was just the energy that you draw from other people was amazing.
And why do you think that made you feel emotional?
Because I don't think sometimes you actually sit back and realise how much shit you've kind of dealt with. Because you just keep going. You just have to keep going. What else are you going to do?
So having that space, like those other people held the space for you to also express how you felt.
Yeah. It was really, I mean, it's very difficult to even describe, to be honest. But what I would say is that if anybody is like on the fence about doing something crazy or doing something that they think will be challenging, like just do it, because the Copperfield track was the most amazing thing that I've ever done. And I've done a couple of like crazy things. Like about 7 years ago, my husband and I cycled London to Paris for cure leukemia. That was amazing as well. That was physical. I struggled with that physically because I'm not a cyclist. I thought I was not. But this definitely physical, yes, but emotional. This was, challenging. But I think actually it's really good for you. I think just go for it. Like, yeah, I think if you just spend your life being safe, I think you're missing out on moments of absolute magic.
There is something so powerful when you've got a group of people with commonalities or not, but I think especially if you have something in common, you know, and when you are embarking, especially on a physical challenge, there is some like, it like unites you so much. It's such a connected, almost, again, this sounds cheesy, but like connected sisterhood. You just get each other. It's a bond that will never go.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, we've already got a reunion booked. We're already like literally the group chat is like going off. So yeah, I think I would just encourage people to just do something that's outside of your comfort zone.
What if they're listening to this going, but it's fucking scary?
Yeah, but life is scary. Tomorrow, something really shit could happen and you have to deal with scary. So what does it matter?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because at some point in your life, you're going to have to deal with scary. No matter who you are, where you come from, what you have, what you don't have, what you do, who you're in a relationship with. At some point, you're going to have to deal with scary shit in your life. And that's just a fact, isn't it?
That is life.
Yeah. So I just, sometimes I think from really shit things can come good things.
Yeah, I agree. And do you think there's an element of the more we put ourselves into kind of like chosen challenge, it can help to prepare us for unchosen challenge? Or are you like, nah, fuck that. Nothing can prepare you. Doesn't matter.
No, I think, it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, I think it sets you up kind of knowing your strength. So it reinforces, actually, I can do difficult things. But I think sometimes in life, like you're thrown things that, I mean, that you just think, seriously, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember, so I was finishing up my kind of immune therapy and my husband was told at 46 that he needed a quadruple bypass. So I was,
Oh my God.
So literally it was almost like, I feel embarrassed because people are going to think we're lying because this is like an episode of Christmas EastEnders. I mean, that's how ridiculous it was. So it was like, okay, we're getting to the end and then boom. And what are you supposed to do with that? Like, you just have to rally on.
What did you, like, what was
He had surgery and actually he did amazing and he's doing really well now, kind of 12 months on. And he's an absolute, he's really strong and he like just dealt with it like a total boss.
Love that.
But yeah, it was like, come on.
Yeah.
Really?
Not even EastEnders would write it.
No, literally, it was like, really? But yeah, so our poor kids were like, Jesus Christ. They got the dud parents.
Can we trade them?
Seriously. But yeah. But
it's something that we talk about quite a lot in CC. And the word resilience, I think some people have quite a they're almost like repelled by it. But I do think resilience, character building, whatever you want to call it, if we can put ourselves into, like you've said, like feel the fear, do it anyway, go and do that challenge, go put yourself, like I am sure a lot of people listening to this, if their friend didn't do the application like they were meant to and come on the journey with you, cheers, if they didn't do it, they would probably have pulled out.
Yeah, probably.
So, and it's like feeling that fear, doing it anyway to help yourself to build that character, to build that resilience, to be the person who can go and speak to a room full of people. I think that's a game changer. I really do. Because like you said, what's the alternative? Are we just going to sit in the fear and sit in the place of, oh, I'm scared?
Yeah. And I know you say it a lot, don't you? If nothing changes, nothing changes. And I think like I was forced to change because I was ill. So now I have to take my health more seriously. I have to kind of recognise that, I can't do certain things that I used to do. And I have, so I have to manage that. Yeah. And I think it's about looking at it and going, yes, is it going to be difficult? Yes, is it shit? But actually, like, I will get through it and, I'll come out the other side in whatever shape, way or form, it's, I think life is about learning, like every second. I don't think you ever know, you never know everything, do you? Like, it's just about learning from everyone around you, from experiences, from doing uncomfortable things. And I think, that's like really important.
And that says to me, growth mindset.
Well, that sounds quite posh. Growth mindset.
So basically, like, do you know anyone who is like, I know what I know, whether it be in business or, they're just one of those people who what they believe is right.
Yeah, they're annoying.
Fixed mindset. So you got...
I really don't like those kind of people.
And why? Why? Because you seem like you've got a growth mindset. So now, like, what is it about those people where you're like, grr, like, I just want to shake you?
Because I just think they're not open, are they? And I think that actually, like, in a way, like, people are missing out.
Yeah.
But then it's their choice, isn't it? So it's not for me to judge. But I just think, for me, I just think the more open you are to people, to experiences, just to kind of just taking everything in around you, the more successful you will be in every kind of way. And actually, the happier you'll be.
I love it. And it's something that obviously we try and help people to adopt, that growth mindset, which is basically learning from people around you, being able to be proven wrong. We spoke about this on a live in Coaching Club, and I was like, how many of you have the ability across the board, not just in one area, but to be proven wrong? And people were like, no, like maybe in personal I can be, but in work I can't be. I love it when I'm proven wrong. I love it when there's like a new bit of science that comes through about, I don't know, it could be blood work or something to do with biology. And it's now like, that is a load of crap. Like, you need to throw it in the bin. Or even like looking back at my former self, and I used to sell Body by Vi shakes, which is like a meal replacement. And you're like, wow. But I don't have the shame that is attached to it for some people. And I believe, and it'll be interesting to hear your point, that those who have that fixed mindset, that can't learn from other people, that maybe feel that they can't be proven wrong, it's because of fear.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really thought about it like that. But it is probably. It absolutely is. I don't even know how you kind of begin to break that down either, because a lot of times that's kind of over years and years and years, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think as well, like, it depends who you surround yourself with. That's a big thing. Because like I said, I'm like blessed to have amazing family and awesome friends. A brilliant sister, mum and dad, really good friends. And I think that helps. I think that if you don't have that kind of community around you, that's difficult, I think. I know you get to choose.
Yeah.
But also you haven't learnt over years either. So it is sort of difficult. But I would just say, if anybody's kind of on the fence, just, you know, you've got nothing to lose.
Dip your toe in.
Yeah.
This is something, so when you were saying the point before about community, there's another great quote. I love a quote. And it's, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. But I also think when you look at the consistency bias, so as humans, we like to remain consistent, especially as adults. I've just done a podcast on this. We are like, it's not okay to change our mind. So if you're like, oh, you know what, every Friday night I'm going to go to the pub because that's just what I do, you kind of like deviate from that. And then you could be receiving a little bit of shit from your friends, or, my God, you've changed. But actually, I think changing is part of being human.
Yeah. And I think if you've got friends that are like that judgy, are they for you? Do you know what I mean?
100%.
You know, because, you know, people might say to me, oh, you don't drink as much as you used to. Yeah, I'm a cheap date now. And then you move on. Do you know what I mean? Like, Javier's lucky now, I'm saving you money. And we move on. Do you know what I mean? And then that's it. It's not, so it's like, yeah. I think it's a two-way street, isn't it? I think people can be quite sensitive. And it's like, it can be easy for them to use that. Because actually, if they want it, does it really matter?
Yeah.
So I think, like, I don't know, I think it's a balance. But yeah, if you've got friends that are that judgy, like, really, are they the right people? Probably not.
And it's bizarre. I was having a conversation the other day and someone was like, I just need to feel like I'm not letting other people down. She's like, what? I know where it was from now. She's like, why do I care about this so much? And if you actually think it comes right back from primal days, like if we weren't part of the pack, we died. Literally, like, and that is still part of us. Like, we've evolved so much, but our brain is still back in those days.
Yeah. I also think just kind of that it's okay to care about other people.
Yeah, definitely.
It's okay to consider like what other people want. Yeah. But I also think that to give kind of love and to give yourself, you need to you need to love yourself in order to be able to. So you're, you know, the best version of you is going to be able to give the best version of you to other people.
Yeah.
But I think I struggle sometimes because I think nowadays, and I talk about this a lot with my son, who is kind of not into social media and gets a little bit frustrated with kind of people just cancel and people don't really care about, you know, things. And yeah, because it's easy now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when I was young, if you needed to cancel, you knew your friend was going to be standing in the square in the pissing rain. Yeah. So it was like, and you couldn't get a message to them, so you went.
Yeah.
Now you just send them a text and nobody cares.
Yeah.
And I think that that's quite sad.
Yeah,
because I think people are losing the ability to actually have like really good relationships. Like some of my closest friends are friends that I went to school with when I was 7. You know, and I think that is kind of, I think people are losing that now, which makes me quite sad.
Because it means a lot to you, and because look at how much that's brought to you. And I do believe like there is an element where you have to consider other people, and it's good to consider other people. There is like, it's one of those things where it depends how much.
Yeah.
We obviously in CC, it's about helping women to give a little bit more of a fuck about themselves as well. It's not, I always use the thing of like, it's not like we're telling you all to bugger off to like India and go and light an incense stick on the side of the hill and just be like, right, fuck you all.
It'd be quite good fun.
It's still caring for other people, but caring for yourself as well.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. But like you say, you know, we're very much in a disposable society. And that is from my kind of like 18 months of being single and dating, I really noticed it. And it is sad.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine. I've been married for 21 years.
Oh my God, it's carnage out there.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
But
it's sad.
It is sad. And we do need to consider other people at the same time as considering ourselves.
Yeah.
Because you've got that line of where so many women that I work with are literally like, everyone else gets every single drop of their energy and they're left to the scraps and they're like, I feel like shit in my body. I can't even think straight. I'm so exhausted. And it's like, well, can we see why?
Yeah, I think it's really hard as well as a mum, when you've got little kids, it is hard. It is hard. If you're working and you've got small children, it is really hard because your kind of maternal instinct is to do whatever they need.
Yeah.
My husband and I, we're quite kind of liberal parents, but we've always kind of included them in everything, and like our lifestyle didn't really change when we had them. So we've travelled with them, and we've taken them out for dinner, and so now we've let them kind of have quite a lot of freedom, I suppose. And now it's paid off because they're older, and we don't have to worry. But I think it is hard as a woman if you're working and your mother to create that balance, because actually you're supposed to be everything to everyone, and that's really difficult.
And that's where you can't create the balance.
Yeah.
If you're everything to everyone, fair enough, to a certain age your children need you. There is no they cannot survive without you. You got no choice. But if you're doing that for everybody, if your partner's not chipping in, if you're not able to ask anyone for help around you, you've only got so much that you can do. 24 hours in a day, if they are all consumed with other people and then absolutely zonking out, there's no alternative. And it's interesting because obviously it's a big part of the message that I try and put out to people. I can't understand from being a mum firsthand. I can just say what I see and help people. It's the consistent puzzle that I'm trying to help women to resolve.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, I think also it's if I ask for help, that's failure in some way, which is just crazy. Because actually also I think I'm very upfront. So, I'd rather have I don't like confrontation, but I'd rather have confrontation and have a discussion than just not say anything. Because actually that person could be thinking something completely different. So unless you talk to them or you tell them, how are they supposed to know?
Yeah.
I was really lucky. My husband was brilliant with the kids, and we've kind of always shared everything. I mean, I'm crap at cooking, so we've had to share that because your children need to be fed.
Coffee?
But do you know what I mean? It's well, yeah. So, but if you're doing it all, your husband might just think, oh,
she's
all right. She likes. She enjoy. So I think sometimes you have to kind of stand up for yourself, and you have to advocate for yourself.
Yes.
And that's what happened with my diagnosis. Brings it back to that. I could have just gone home and sat and waited for 8 weeks while cancer spread everywhere else. Or I could advocate for myself. So I think sometimes you need to be brave enough to kind of to step outside, really, and also to have awkward conversations.
Why do people not do that?
I don't really know. I'm quite partial to an awkward conversation. It doesn't bother me because I'd rather just say it how it is.
I love
and
that
then you move
how
on.
Terrified you were of coming on the podcast.
I know, right? Now I'm
I'll have an awkward conversation, but I won't have a chat with you, Sash.
I was oh, what's she going to ask?
Nothing's off limits. But so going back to that, what do you think it is? Why do you think people are unable to do that?
I don't know. I mean, who knows? It's personal, isn't it? Everybody's different. I think people don't like confrontation.
Yeah.
And also I think it's just human nature to build things up in our mind that is that just kind of catastrophize things that aren't actually there. Actually, if you just had a simple conversation, it would be done.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you change that, because that just is human nature, isn't it?
I think if you look at, communication first and foremost, did you watch the Cathy McDonald training on communication?
No.
It's a game. It's from ages ago. I'll send it to you if you want. And it's basically on the thing that stands out. So she's a hostage negotiator. Okay. So she's pretty good at communicating. Yeah. And the thing that she says is always deliver the I message. So instead of being Keri, you've left your clothes all over the floor, you make me feel so angry, you go, I sometimes feel upset when there's clothes left on the floor. Look at the difference.
Yeah.
But we're not taught as kids to learn how to communicate.
No.
We're not taught how to regulate our emotions. So we can sometimes, like you say, we let things build up and it's like pushing a beach ball underwater.
Yeah.
The only way it's going to go is... And it's the same in this. And I think that's a couple of things, and you touched upon this before, is we have these brutal expectations on ourselves to do everything and to not communicate with how we feel because we can see it as failure, like you said about earlier. Combine that with the inability to communicate without it maybe erupting into an argument. And I think just being able to soothe ourselves and our emotions, all of that together is literally like, well, why would I speak to someone else? It's just easier for me to do it on my own, is what a lot of people say. So back onto you.
Really? There must be something better to talk about.
What is, and I don't just mean tangible, crazy treks, what's next for you? What's your next focus in regards to, from a feeling, from a identity, from an aspect of you living a life that is aligned with you? What's next?
So, what is next? Dun, dun, dun. I think, I've kind of like, my son's just gone off to uni, so there's lots of kind of life kind of changes, I suppose. So the dynamics in our house has slightly changed. We miss him lots. But yeah, I don't know. What I know is I want to improve my fitness. That's a big thing for me because I was quite fit before I got sick, and then you kind of like struggle through, and I've kind of dipped in and out with all these different things, and I really need to kind of get back on track. My daughter is really into fitness, so that's brilliant. So it's something we're going to be doing together. So that is really good. She's wants to sign me up for a half marathon, which is quite scary, but I think we'll end up doing that at some point in 2024. But I think just kind of getting work-life balance, traveling, and just kind of living a really kind of solid, healthy lifestyle and being, happiness. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but like, that's the key, really. I think you can put a lot of pressure on other crap that actually doesn't really matter, but investing in, relationships with your family and your friends, and just those kind of things are just so important.
And what other things, other than investing in family and friends, brings you happiness or gives you a life where you're like, yeah, I'm happy?
Like, traveling has always been a massive thing for me. I think that you learn so much from traveling. I've traveled quite a lot. I've been really lucky. So that is key. So I'll always have some kind of, if I haven't got a trip planned, I get a bit antsy. And I've got kind of a really good business, and it's going really well, and we're busy, and I've got a really good team who, are just amazing. So it's all kind of, everything's going in like a really positive direction. So it's good. And it's good because actually, like, 3 years ago, almost to the date, it was quite dark and it was quite bleak. So I think, like, if anybody's kind of in that space, I think it is really important to know that there is kind of hope and that you can move forward no matter what shit life throws at you.
Love that.
I think, like, you just keep going, like, one step at a time. I remember, like, I used to pat myself on the back if I managed to get up, have a shower and put some lipstick on when I was going through chemo. It's like, that was a result. And I think, like, that's the thing, like, celebrate the small things, because actually you can spend a long time, like, just striving for, like, goals, I don't know, not that they're not achievable, because I'm sure they are, but actually they can be so far off that, like, you just lose your way. And actually, like, what's happening today is really important.
Because we don't know if we're ever going to get there.
Yeah.
And I know that can be quite a morbid way.
No, but it's not guaranteed.
And I think you see a lot of like people strive towards, whether it be financial success, or they literally put their life on hold because they're, you know, going to get this big dream house, but they spend a year, 2 years of their life in this like absolute rat race tunnel. And it's like, have you stopped to smell a single flower along the way? And a lot of people don't.
No.
And that's something, you know, my life has been aligned in a way where I've lost a lot of great people in my life, and it has really made me have this innate desire to not only live my life to the full, so hence Bali in the summer, Australia's coming up, you know, and if people have a comment, that's cool, you do you, boo, but this is my life and I'm similar to you, travel is my bag. But also, that's the driving force behind what I do, is helping women to live a life with no regrets and to do what's right for them, and also to benefit those people around them, which is just incredible.
Also, people always have comments.
Yes.
There's always going to be people who have something to say. Like, the thing is, they're leaving someone else alone, aren't they? If they're commenting about you. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a great way to look at it.
It's like, I mean, I don't know. I just think, yeah, people are always going to have opinions. And actually, like, it's opinions that people don't even really know you.
Yeah.
So actually, the people that know you, the people that matter, they won't care. So, yeah, I'm a big one for, like, not even bothering with that kind of drama.
And I love the whole thing of, like, if they're giving it to me, it's going to be stopping them giving it to someone else. Love it. It's that age-old quote of opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one and some of them stink. Have you heard that before?
I haven't. You love a quote.
I love a quote. And that was my favourite. I had it the other day when someone mentioned about me swanning off to Bali. And I was like, okay, yeah, that one stinks, but it's fine. You do you, boo.
Yeah.
So what would you say to former Keri?
Oh, God. I don't know, really. I'd probably just say, like, you know, create more balance. Because I'm not sure I had balance. And actually, like, yeah, I just think balance is a massive thing that's come out of me being poorly. And also challenge yourself, because I think that makes you grow. Like, if you challenge yourself, that will make you a better person.
Love it. Challenge yourself, create more balance in life.
Yeah.
Incredible. Is there anything else you'd like to finish by saying?
I don't think so. I mean, I was quite nervous. I've quite enjoyed it.
It's good fun, isn't it?
Yeah, actually.
We're just having a chat.
Just having a chat. Hopefully there'll be a filter when you edit it. But...
Nah, we can go straight in. Is there, like, do you have, like, is your social media open or do you keep it closed? Is there anywhere where you would like people to...
No, so my Instagram is, like, where I kind of told my story. I tend to put lots of things up there. Yeah, at Kesmo1. But yeah, I just look, I'm kind of just Keri, you know, I just get on with it. But if anyone is going through anything, you know, especially cancer, you know, because it can be really scary and really lonely. So whatever part of your journey you're at, you know, I'm literally open. Send me a message. I'll meet you for a coffee, whatever. And I think it is October, so check your chests. You know, I did the trek for Copperfield, this brilliant charity about getting young women to check their chests, and men. So yeah, I just think it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Make sure you check your chest, and if you know anything is not right, go and get it sorted, because early detection will mean a lot less drama.
As you found out firsthand.
As I found out firsthand. But yeah. But know that, you know, even in the darkest days, there will be sunshine coming. Even if you have to be patient.
That's incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been incredible to chat to you. And I just know so many people are going to listen to this and probably reach out to you and if they don't reach out, just have that wisdom, that kind of like backing and belief. The one word that stands out to me about you is hope.
Yeah.
Keep that hope. As it.
There you go.
For anyone who's listening, Keri has just showed me a tattoo on her wrist of the word hope. That's literally like I knew it. Thank you so much, ladies and gents, for listening. I hope you enjoyed the Ladies' Best Life podcast. See you soon.